I use exactly two tools to build all of my dashboards, all of my reports, all of the things that I build for myself and my clients with their data. I build with two tools: SQL to query the data and React to render it. That's it. That's as deep as my tech stack is, right? I build all of the reports like this one using SQL, which is the universal query language. Anything that can be pulled out of the data warehouse can be pulled out using SQL. You don't need a semantic layer. You don't need complicated metric definitions and things like that. Nope. What you need is SQL. That's what lets you pull out any data, join with any other data, format it any way you like, right? Any date range, SQL. That's the universal query language. And then combine that universal query language, universal data language with React. That's the universal user interface design language. That's all it takes. You combine those two things: SQL, the universal query language, with React, the universal user interface language, and you can build any dashboard you like with your data, right? As you can see here, right? I've got SQL. All of this is just, there's the SQL. It's right there. That's all it is. These are some pre-built components that I've built in React, but it's just React code. That's all it is. It's just React. It lets me see the SQL right here, right? I can see what is the SQL that's actually running. It's not three layers of tools between me and my data warehouse. It's this SQL. You take this SQL, you could copy it, right? You could run it in your data warehouse, BigQuery, Snowflake, doesn't matter which one. You run this query, you will get the data for this chart right there, right? If there's a problem with this query, you can go edit it anywhere. Anyone can look at that and understand, I see how you're pulling the data out of the data warehouse, right? Then combine that with React. You can use any library pre-built for React. You like a different charting library, you need an additional charting library for a particular component, great, use it. Why not? Right? It's in React, right? Best way to build any report you like, right? Where's the code live, right? Where is this? All of that. Guess where it is? It's in GitHub, right? There's a GitHub repo that shows exactly this. This is the code. This is the code for this. Combine that with Claude, right? Hello, there's Claude, right? Claude, your friend. You can take the time that it takes to build a report like this down from weeks to minutes, because Claude understands SQL, the universal query language, right? And React, the universal rendering language, right? Don't let anything get between your LLM and the data and the way you want to render it, right? Now, of course, I've built some pre-built components, right? I have a convex server. You need a server to route your query to your data warehouse so you can securely store credentials, but it doesn't matter how you do that, right? It doesn't matter the server. It's just a dumb server to store credentials on and run queries against, right? The key is the only meaningful thing in your tech stack that you need to build every single report, every single tool you need is React and SQL. That's it. Right? That's how I build all my reports now. It has saved me weeks of time building a report. I can now deliver a report to a client that day that they request it. Beautiful customized reports with the filters and the charts and the tabs and even special tools like this one, right? I built this projections tool for myself here, right? Where I could say, hey, what's going to happen to our revenue for the year, right? All right, we'll throw in some specific changes to subscriptions and things like that. Let me mess around with this and see how it updates, right? Where's this pulling from? SQL for the real data, right? And then, yeah, this stuff, it just runs right here in React. Don't need anything else, right? The point here is you can build super specific tools based on your data, right? With all you need is React and SQL. That's it, right? And you can pretty much build anything you want with those two pieces of tooling. So that's how that's how I'm building all of my stuff, right? React plus SQL plus Claude, GitHub for storage of those reports, of the artifacts or whatever you want to call them that you're building. And that's it. Keep the tech stack really, really simple. Don't let anything get between your data and your LLM and the way you want to visualize it. Don't limit yourself to the drag and drop tools that existed before React, before AI. Use just the basic universal languages, the universal building blocks. Build anything you want with just those. That's how we do it.